Today we're back in the home office. We're doing episode 4, how to open up a large childcare center. This is Sprinting to Profitability, part 2. Covered a lot last week. I wanted to make sure there was so much more topics. And again, a lot of these things are things we've developed over years, over 16 years. So I just want to throw as many at you as possible right now so you can make sure you're getting off on a good foot. Or if you've already been up and running for years, you're going in and modifying and tightening up your tuition policy, helping you sprint to profitability. Episode 4, part 2, here we go. Come follow me. Then this is the channel for you. There you go. It's pretty cool, huh? You truly can have a business in our industry where you can draw not only a fair salary as a director, owner, operator, but where you can create a business that has a gross profit of 25, 50, 75, over $100,000, a six-figure income. You can do that for your business. I know how to do it. Here we go, I'll show you how. Now, one of the first things you want to look at is your business layout, your center layout. I talked about this in episode 3 where I talked about knowing the square footage and laying that out, also in the business plan. But think about the progression of your children. This is something you may not consider until you're 2 or 3 years in, but I'm trying to give you a head start here. So think about the progression from infant to toddler to maybe an older toddler, maybe a young preschool room of 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s. I don't know how many classrooms you have. You want to space that out. What will happen is you can have children that start backing up in classrooms where they start timing out of an infant room and they can't move up to a toddler room. And then your toddler room starts getting so full and they can't move up to the next room because of age, ratios, limitations. These are things you'll experience down the road, but work with someone to strategize the ages and the group, because you want to have children for that 4 or 5 years before they go off to kindergarten, and you want to be able to meet those needs in your program as those children get older. Where is the profitability in our program? It's not an infant and toddler care, but if you're managing your expenses right, your staff right, your ratios right, you should still be able to make a small profit in your infant room and toddler room. It's tough, you gotta be disciplined, you can do it, but the bigger profits are gonna be in preschool and school-age classrooms. I mentioned to you my strategy, my ideas, and tracking on stacking chairs. That's a big part of that. So as you get into those older classrooms, just think of this real simply. If you have 20 seats in a classroom and you have 20 school agers that come in the morning at 6:30 to 8:30, then you take them to school. Then you have 20 preschoolers that come in from 9 to noon, and then they're gone. You have 20 more preschoolers in the afternoon from 1 to 4 that come into your classroom, and then they leave after that afternoon preschool. And then you have your school agers, all 20 of them come back. That could be 10 plus 20 is 30, plus 20 is 50, plus 10 is 60, $60 times 20 chairs. I believe that's $1,200, as opposed to just 20 children there for a full day at $40 a day, which is $800. You've now made 150% of max revenue. Stacking chairs, we have a video. It looks like this. It'll be in the recommended at the end of that. So really make sure you have a good comprehension of what that looks like, and you can do that in your older classroom. That's a big part of making sure you're maximizing your profitability in your program. Understanding the flow of kids and what that looks like. In our industry, the margins are small. This is not a business to get into going, hey, I'm gonna make $100,000 a year. This is an industry with small margins. This is not a get-rich-quick industry or a get-rich-ever industry. However, if you work smart, you can become profitable.
There was a special on these tonight. 3 for 1.
3 for 1?
Yep.
How can that be profitable for Frito-Lay?
These corporations, I don't know what they're doing.
Oh, you two enjoy each other. It's often we don't appreciate what we have until it's gone.
You've got to make sure, because of those small margins, that you're micromanaging your expenses. You're being extremely frugal. Frugal. There was a book, Millionaire Next Door. I don't do a lot of reading, but I love audiobooks. So I watched this years ago. Gosh, probably 20 years ago was my first exposure to it. And what I realized about people that were wealthy is that they were extremely frugal. Wealthy people are frugal. Those driving fancy cars and fancy houses and fancy watches, that's not frugality. It's the person down the street driving the old station wagon with the, what am I trying to say, the brown sides of the station wagon. That you never know. They could be a millionaire. So frugality is critical in life, but in your business, you're gonna have to be frugal because we're working with very small margins and frugality. There you go. Stick with that. On that frugality, that's why I've always said, always buy in bulk and never break a case. So not only are you frugal, but you're buying smart. You're using bulk discounts to make sure that you get the best price per item. I mean, we'll break down tomato sauce by the ounce and make sure we're getting it for the best price. Never, always buy in bulk. So if you're buying from a distributor or then you want to make sure you get in a case price. If they come in 12 to a case, I'm never going to buy 10 or less, right? I'm always going to buy 12 because they could charge you to break that case to give you 8 cans of number 10 cans of tomato sauce if that's what you're buying. So never break a case. Always buy in bulk is a great strategy for saving money and working with those tight margins. The fact is you're running a business and you've got to run it like a business. I mentioned the bold big heart thing before, and we're always focused on our families that are using our care, the parents that are bringing the children to our program, and how do we meet their needs. But you've got to meet your business needs. Also, you got to meet your staff needs. You got to meet payroll. You've got to make sure you've got your business hat on when you're making business decisions and you're running it like a business. That's critical for profitability. Critical. Find someone to balance out that loving preschool teacher inside you with that critical, analytical, skeptical business mindset, entrepreneurial person says, hey, we've got to raise our margins. We've got to raise our rates. So it's all about balance. Okay, let me touch on rates a little bit more. Again, I mentioned in the last video, make sure you're driving your rates higher. That's going to bring those CCAP rates up over time. Make sure you know what your competitors' rates are. Call around, introduce yourself. You don't have to play games. You don't have to play, the ball underneath the cup for the mice and the cat. You just call them and say, hey, Kirk Discovered Kids, I'm just wondering, hey, what are you guys charging right now for your 3s, 4s, and 5s? It's amazing to me how secretive owners can be. I've hired staff and I go, what did your company charge over in Denver? What were their rates? They go, I don't know. They always tell me the rates were changing, and so we didn't never know. Only the director and the administrator know. And that's mind-blowing to me. Why you're so secretive about that. You can look at my rates on my website. My parent handbook, my staff know their rate, know what the rates are if they care. You don't need to be secretive about this stuff. Remember, I told you it was no shame in being profitable? What do you think, your staff are going to count up how many kids and count up the rates and say I should make more? Well, if you want to make more, come follow me. Let's help you grow in our business. Always looking to promote people from within. That's how you get profitable, by promoting people and creating better opportunities for them. And maybe one day you'll help them go up and open up a second center. And maybe they'll be a franchisee of yours, or they'll just be a director and you give them some profit sharing or things like that. So creating opportunity for your staff to be more involved in growing your business is critical. All right, here's another good one for you. When it comes to enrollment, you need to make sure your enrollment is full. And so I talked about our capacity and revenue tool that's linked to our roster, our classroom rosters. And one of the things that does for you is it helps you see how much you're losing because you have empty seats in your center. Now, I don't care if it's one empty seat Monday through Friday in this room and then a Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday in another room, whatever it might be, help you quantify that amount. And you might be losing $2,000 a week or $8,000 a month or $50,000 a year by not maximizing every seat. And it's hard. We're playing Tetris. We talked about that on making sure you're maximizing all your part-time kids and your full-time kids and so forth. But when you look at that number by using that tool, you can find that in the treasure box. You can justify paying your administrator an enrollment bonus. And so I started doing that some time ago. And so my admin, if they were meeting certain enrollment expectations, they would receive a $500 bonus once a quarter. That's $2,000 a year. It was two things. Financially, it motivated them to get on the phone and make sure they're calling people on the waiting list, they're making good tours, they're strategizing to keep our numbers full, they're playing the Tetris games and so forth. But what really that did is it also created that pride that they hit that number of 94% enrollment, and that's every seat, every, hour of the day, basically. So that's a huge feat to meet. And that $500 was just a huge way of saying, thank you, you did a fantastic job. But all that extra work and focus that helped them put into the center, it paid it back 100-fold. That enrollment bonus never cost me anything because they made up for it 100 times fold. I mean, that's one child, 1 month, and they had a whole quarter to earn that. And where they would take our numbers from 84% to 94, 96, 98% enrollment, and they were proud of that, and they knew I was watching. So that was a huge thing and a great way that we were able to tweak our enrollment and keep those numbers up high when it wasn't up to me just watching that. If you're so overwhelmed with such as calling people off the wait list.
All right, can you give me a break? I just wanted to wait in line.
Or calling referrals. Here's the thing, you could have one of your staff that's really, really good with people and teach them how to call on a wait list. Because I'm telling you, there's times where you may have 10, 20, 100 families on a wait list. You just don't have time to call them. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you haven't been flourishing in your business, which you need to be doing. Getting one of your staff early in the morning or in the afternoon, during lunch break or during nap time, getting into the office, put them in a quiet room, give them a phone, and having them call families just to update them on the wait list, update their status, or invite them in for a tour. Train one of your staff to do these tours for you is a great way to maximize your current staff, or just have them set up these tours for you. I want to make sure you're really auditing your attendance. I used to go and look at every child's attendance every day at the end of the month, and it would be 250 pages. Every check in and out, in and out, in and out. I looked for discrepancies. I looked for parents that were scheduled for preschool only, say from 9 to noon, but they were coming from 7:30 to 5:30. My staff in classrooms, they're focusing on great opportunities, great experiences for the kids. They're not micromanaging the schedule. So make sure you're auditing the attendance, or you have someone audit that attendance. So I do that now, or I have someone audit that now, and I'm training my VA to be able to audit that attendance as well. So that's super helpful. You're able to catch discrepancies where a child comes 3 days a week and all of a sudden here's a 4th day. Did you charge them for that drop-in? Now, one of the greatest tools that we've recently created was our automated population of ROMs. This is our record of meals served that meets our food program requirement. And this is also in our new roster and ROMs with capacity and revenue tool. It's one sheet, and it shades all the areas that children are supposed to be eating. And so if a child is scheduled, Johnny's scheduled Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and he comes and eats lunch on a Thursday and afternoon snack, that block is not going to be shaded. When my staff mark them off, it's obvious that they were not scheduled. It's a great auditing tool. So make sure you get your hands on that in the treasure chest, treasure box. There'll be a link in the description below so you can find that and start using that tool here as well. So auditing attendance, making sure you're keeping track of drop-ins. Ask your parents to communicate with you if they're not coming. Our family handbook says, hey, if your child's not going to be here by 9 a.m. or for that date, notify us by 9 a.m. rather.
That does it. I'm out of here. Mrs. Krabappel, I have to go to the dentist. I have a caraway seed caught under my bridge work. My mom's number's on there if you want to check up on me.
That's okay, Bart. I trust you.
Our parents are great. They're like, hey, Grandma's in town. We're playing hooky for a couple days. Wonderful. I make that note on we have a sheet at the front of our center. It's called What's Happening This Week, Monday through Friday. So anytime a parent says, hey, we're playing hooky out Thursday, Friday, we write that name down. No Johnny, no Johnny. And then when Tabitha calls in for Jesse to see if we have room to drop in on Thursday, Friday, we can look at that sheet and go, we do, because Johnny's playing hooky. So Tabitha, drop in. We have a little checkbox where we would bill them. We know that we billed them, and staff can come in every morning when they check in, look at that sheet, see who's dropping in or not coming. This is a great way to manage your drop-ins. This is going to help you be profitable and be organized so that kids aren't just free-flowing in and out of classrooms. Really important, auditing your tracking, take advantage of drop-ins, a couple more ways you can do that. Now, one of the things when we enroll families on CCAP, which is Colorado Child Care Assistance Program, we make sure they sign a contract with us specific to that. It's important that you don't discriminate or have unique policies for families on child care assistance as you do your self-pay or private pay household families. You want to make sure you have the same rules. So as you create these rules, make sure that you make them so they fit across both platforms. You can find a copy of our CCAP contract or our Department of Human Services Families contract in our treasure chest. You got it. So you're welcome to take a look at that. But we also create a video for them. So when we enroll a new family, we shoot them an email of a video so they can see that. We can check that off. They agree to that. Actually, me explaining every point of that CCAP contract, because we know most families aren't going to read the contracts, they're not going to read the parent handbooks. So it's really important that I created every opportunity for them to eliminate excuses and make sure that they know what they're in for and what agreements that I need for them to hold on to and to honor. Here's something to honor: Tuition Express. So we require all of our families to have some form of payment method on file. I mentioned this in an earlier episode where we just do automatic check handling, right? But it's critical that it's for all families. Here's a catch that'll get you if you're not careful. Your CCAP families or your Department of Human Services families, they may not have any financial monthly fee. In Colorado, it's called a parent fee. And so they go, well, I don't have a parent fee, so I don't need to give you any of my financial information. On the contrary, it's a part of our requirement for all families. Why is this important? Because oftentimes it's a CCAP family, maybe with the zero parental fee, right? Where the parental fee is a portion of care that the county, based on financial algorithms, decides is the responsibility of the family. Okay, so it might be $10, it might be $200 for one child or for each child. It all depends on county algorithms, income, expense of that household, and so forth. Even if they have no monthly parental fee, it's zero. If they don't do certain things like properly check their children in and out on our ATS system, which is our automatic tracking system, attendance tracking system, there you go. If they don't do that, the county's not going to pay, the state's not going to pay. Therefore, my agreement says I'm going to charge you, and I need a method to collect that money. So by requiring a payment on file for every household, it broadens their sensitivity. It wakens them up to, oh, well, there is things I could pay for. Maybe even activity fees. You have a contract with your agency and ours. We cannot charge annual supply fees, but we can charge activity fees as long as the child has another alternative opportunity of programming outside of that activity. Get to know your CCAP or your DHS contracts and those policies and so forth, but there's so many things that will help you save thousands of dollars. So get to know those contracts. Make sure you're auditing your CCAP, your child care assistance payments. So many providers get so overwhelmed. You've got to delegate this to somebody. You've got to find someone that can micromanage their time and are good with detail. Give that detail to somebody else. Maybe it's your bookkeeper. There's ways to do that. We're developing ways for our VAs to be able to audit those things, do pre-audits, look for discrepancies and so forth. So you just have to make time for that, because you can lose so much money if you get behind on auditing payments from your county or your state for children. You've got to have a good, simple process to make sure that is getting audited. Let me talk also just a little bit about this whole automatic check handling. Here's the thing too, is that after work every day, 3 or 4 days a week, on the way home, I drive by the bank and, I go through the teller line, or I'd stop in real quick, say hello to everybody, and make a deposit. Now I'm in a pretty small town. We have, I don't know, 150, 200,000 people in our county, but my town's pretty small, maybe 40,000. You may have to wait 10, 15, 20 minutes in line. Stop doing that. Count that as time away from your family. So by doing the automatic check handling, I gain hundreds of hours back every year. Now I only go to the bank once a week or once every 2 weeks to deposit checks. And parents are like, hey, I got a check in the check box. I go, oh, well, we can fix that for you. Just fill out this form for automatic check handling. It saves time. And that's time you could be putting back into your business or putting back into your family and your loved ones. So take advantage of every opportunity to save time. It's a small fee if you do your automatic check handling the right way. Here's another trick with automatic check handling, that is collections. So because I require families to have this automatic check handling on file, let's say a family gets upside down with me by $800 and they lose care, they lost their job, they move away. You have about a 1 in 75 chance of them ever paying you for that care. You just do. Now you're a collection agent. You can turn that over to a collection agency that's going to charge you 33%. In your tuition handbook policies, make sure you have it noted in there that charge for attorneys or collection fees, which are, I don't know, I think I have mine in there, which is 0.33% or 1/3 of their bill. So if they leave me with $1,000, I could charge $333, add that to their account. Now they owe $1,333. I send that off to collections, and the collection company takes their third, and I get my $1,000. Okay, I have to include this in here. I was just talking about that 33%, and kid you not, I just got a sales call just now transferred me to a company out of Nashville, Tennessee, wanting to do collections for me. Interesting enough, I'm still in the market for that, but I want to give you two alternatives. So I said, make sure you have that 33%, because I asked him, I said, Joseph, what do you charge me for your collections? He said, if it's a debt that's less than 12 months old, he charges 33%. If it's over a year, like a year to 2 or a year to 3, they charge 40%. That's why you want to have that 33% markup in there once you add it to collections and send it off. So make sure you have that in your tuition policy. The other thing is what used to be prepaid legal services, which is now called Legal Shield. With that membership, you have access to attorney questions. I know I talked about this in the last episode, but I have access to up to 10 collection letters per month at no additional cost. I pay $75 a month for this legal service. And I've been on this plan for 16 years, since the day we opened. And so I'm grandfathered on an older plan. I'm not sure what that current plan is. I'll put the description to Legal Shield below. And so you can have access to that information. But I could literally send up to 10 collection letters per month, one per client. But if you have a parent that walks on you with $800 and they're not returning your phone calls, you have two options. You can turn them into a collection company, which sayonara, if they're gone, they're gone. Let the dogs run after them, right? But number two, by having a professional letter from your attorney saying, we are advising you right now to avoid small claims court and these other things, to recontact your child care provider and make payment arrangements. That is a super professional letter to be sent out. Now, you're not going to spend $120 calling an attorney to have them do that, right? So that's the benefit of having that Legal Shield service. Again, link will be in the description below. There's lots of options to debt collections. Let me jump lastly. I'm actually off the phone there. I forgot about that. Let me mention the other thing about having your own collection department. So let's say this family leaves. They move on to San Antonio, Texas. You're never going to see them again, but you have their credit card on file. All right. In my tuition policy, it says that we have the right to draft any remaining balances for care or services provided or required in our contract once your child is withdrawn. So I already have their authority to try to hit their account for $800. I'd rather work something out with them if I can. I say, hey, Jerry, how about we set you up on a payment plan? And I go, what can you do for him? And he might go, I could do $100 a month. I can't do anything more. No problem. I'm going to set his account up for a maximum pull of $100 a month. and it'll just continue to draw for the next 8 months, and I'll set it up for the 1st or the 7th or the 15th, whatever he wants. So it'll auto draft his account every month for 8 months. I pay no collection fees. He's happy with me because I didn't turn him into a collection department. I don't have to hope that he mails me a check every month. It's going to auto post, so that having that information is a great form of using that as a collection service in-house that requires just communication and setting up a plan with these families. So that is a super great way to do collections in-house wisely. Ooh, the wind is howling today. Woo! I hope you got a lot of good information today about tuition policies, sprinting to profitability, working in an industry with small margins, and being frugal, all kinds of things. So I hope you found some good gems today that you'll be able to use, whether you're starting your business from scratch or you're trying to look for ways to help increase some margins, be more profitable, be more successful, save some time, save some money. So thanks for being part of this journey. Make sure you hit the like button, make a comment. Let me know if there's something that you need, some idea that you have. If you have a great idea on this topic, be sure to put it in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you again soon. Yeah, what else? I missed it.